A warm welcome. We are back. It's been 4 episodes in a week of Stu's Wrestling Podcast. Can you believe it? And all live as well, might I add. I couldn't pre-tape this one. And it's a returning guest for his 3rd appearance on Stu's Wrestling Podcast. He's leveled it with Justin Klepper. It is ring announcer, interviewer, commentator, pitch side announcer for Walsall FC as well. It's Mr. Simon Hill, back for his 3rd appearance on Stu's Wrestling Podcast. How are we, Simon?
What an introduction, mate. Yeah, no, great to be here. Thank you for having me back, man. How's things with you? I'm good, by the way. Yeah, to answer your question.
All good, Si. I just know we're going to have fun, as always. You know, we're obviously going to talk about your bookings with wrestling. I also know we're going to divulge, we're going to go into Walsall, because you've been so integral to Walsall, doing your announcing, pitch side announcer. So, yeah, can't wait for this. So, you've been busy, mate. You have been busy, as always. How's it been? How's 2024 been so far, mate?
It's been a very different start to the year than I'm used to. So at the beginning, I thought it's been a bit slow because last year was just I didn't stop for 12 months. You know, the only time I did was when me and the other half went to Mexico around Christmas time. But then the start of 2024, it was a little bit slow. But then as soon as it did pick up, I was just like, wow, okay, right, let's ride this and enjoy it. And I've, I'd been off a few weeks recently due to an operation. But this weekend was the first week back fully. And boy, it's been relentless. So it's been good. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having fun. I mean, you know me, Stu. I love what I do. I never do anything in my life that I don't enjoy doing. I think that's, that was kind of the sentiment of our last episode, if I remember, is that I think I'm very lucky that everything I do for a living is something I'm so passionate about, and people dream of that, day in, day out. And I'm just fortunate enough to live it, mate.
Absolutely. Now, you were with TNT the weekend before last.
Yeah.
How is it being back at TNT? Ring announcing. I'll get that correct. You were ring announcing just before, So yeah, just being back around TNT. I know you've been with TNT for many, many years in different guises, different roles. You've done a bit of everything with them. How was it? How was it been at the show?
It was a little emotional, mate, to be honest with you. So I got the call from Jay Apter, and just like you said, I've worked with TNT now for 5 years on and off, being a commentator there for some of their biggest events. I've interviewed some of their done in ring stuff with the likes of Effie and Shane Monet and Ali Catch and people like that. And I kicked my wrestling career off way back when with TNT as a backstage interviewer. So to then get the call to come and ring announce, to be the voice of the shows, to lead those shows, was absolutely an honor. And to do the double shows as well. I was very self-conscious. Obviously, you can probably see on that photo, actually, on the left side, you can see my hand covered up because of the operation. And you know me, I'm a very, very confident guy. But yeah, since the operation, my self-awareness has gone down slightly, but that's going to come back. It's just one of those things. We all go through those times, especially after serious operations and things like that. But I still managed to embrace everything. I mean, that photo there was taken by a fan, if I remember, and I absolutely love it. So I'm kind of doing the intro here for the TNT Ignition Women's Championship. You see Millie McKenzie in the corner. But the feedback I got out the ring, and I had fans who stopped watching the match to come up and go, that was epic. That felt like a big fight field entrance and introduction. So yeah, I absolutely love that moment. But yeah, I did have a little moment with the fans. I self-indulged and said, look, I am so proud to be back at TNT, to be doing what I love doing, and to be home. TNT was what gave me my initial break 5 years ago. And ever since then, I have gone around Europe doing this for some of the biggest promotions in the world. So, I had a moment, thanked all the fans, thanked TNT, and just said how important it was to me. And it really was, a fan grabbed me afterwards and said I could tell that that wasn't just for the sake of saying it. Like, that really felt emotional, and we
No,
all
I can
felt it.
imagine.
And
Yeah.
as soon as I came, what was actually a beautiful moment is as soon as I stopped talking, the fans all clapped and they all raised the one up in acknowledgement. And that almost broke me, mate, to be honest. But so yeah, really good. Looking forward to being back. I think there's going to be more in the works. Conversations with myself and Jay Apter have been happening quite regular, so it won't be the last time you'll see me in a TNT ring for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I know. You seem so immensely proud. Not just for yourself though. You know, the punters. It's about the punters. You're giving 110% on you in those intros. To have that, getting the feedback, it just must be the ultimate for you.
It really is, mate. It really is. And again, you look at everything that I do for a living. Ring announcing, commentating, pitch side announcing, DJing, hosting, presenting. Everything I do is with the idea and delivery of entertaining others. So all of those roles that I have, it might be me front and center, but I'm the one that's entertaining others. And that's what my job is to do. And that's what I love doing, is just being able to help be a small part of providing an escape, providing entertainment, providing an engagement, interacting with people, and just having a really good time doing it.
Amazing. Now, you wanted to speak about your girlfriend and how well she is doing. Leah Raven, she's collecting gold now, I tell you.
She is.
So I'll pop a photo up, but I know how immensely proud you are of her and what she's been doing. So yeah, just tell us how proud you are, man.
I mean, where do I start? She's going to kill me for this, by the way. Look, mate, I have seen this girl go from, questioning her role within the industry and not really knowing if she wanted to get back into it. So she was burnt quite early on. She initially trained with a promotion down in the Midlands, which we won't mention, no longer exists. And she was burnt pretty bad by them. When I then wanted to train in the ring, I reached out to her because we knew each other. And she helped train me a little bit. And that kind of started just to get a little feel for it. And I said, look, why don't you come up to Future Shock? Like, go and train with Sam Bailey and see how you feel. And she did. And she loved it. She was there, like, I remember, because obviously I didn't know how to even do an arm drag back then. And I'm just watching her and Sam Bailey just run these sequences, and I am just, my jaw's on the floor. I'm like, how can you not do this? You're so good. And now, mate, she, like you said, she's a double champ. She's a Future Shock Women's Championship, which, she beat Harley Hudson for. And you look at the prestige of that championship, mate. I mean, Lana Austin, Molly Spartan, Alexis Falcon, Tonga. The list goes on. I'm missing some really key names there, but she's now within that list. And the gimmick side, let's put the gimmick side aside for a second. To actually get to that stage in a wrestling ring, in a wrestling career, to hold a really important title in any promotion, mate, that takes a lot of talent and hard work. And she's put it in, and I see all the work she's putting in. And, again, she's Odyssey Pro Wrestling Women's Champion as well, which, again, Odyssey first crowned their women's champion a couple of years ago now, and it was in a match with Lizzie Evo, Gia, Tonga, and Alexis Falcon. And now, again, Leah is amongst those names.
Mm-hmm.
She's wrestling with the best, and she's already challenged for the Progress Women's title. She's a double champion. She's wrestled all over the country, and she's only 2 years in, really. So I am immensely proud, mate. There's another photo. I'm not sure if you managed to get that one, but there's another photo of us backstage, and it was on her first ever title win.
Oh, mate, I've got the one where you're at Walsall. I'll put that in. I know we're going to talk about.
You can
I
put that
know
one
we're
in.
going
That's
to
a good
talk about
segue, mate.
Walsall
Yeah.
more latterly, but yeah, I'll put. They are pitch side there. The two of you, lovely.
Yeah. So that was the last game of the season last year, and she's been my biggest supporter, mate. She's been there for the good times, helped me through the tough ones, and look, I am immensely proud of her in and out of the ring, and I know she's going to keep smashing it. She's a hard worker, and as tough as this business has been on her, I know she's just fighting through it day in, day out, and she's, that's showing. She's just had there was about what I think we had a double show at Future Shock with roughly in total around 16 matches, 2 shows, and apart from the main event of the second show, everyone said that it was Leah and Lucy Sky that stole the show. Not me. Yes, I'm going to be biased. Of course I am. But Jay Apter actually said, and this was, Jay, mate. You've worked with him in the past. Jay doesn't really do compliments. But he turned around after Lucy Sky's and Leah's match and went, those two can be the next Alexis Falcon and Lizzie Evo feud. That's the best feud in women's wrestling we've seen in this country. So, it's one of the best feuds in wrestling we've seen in this country. So, I think for Jay Apter to say that, I think that's a big deal.
High praise indeed, coming from the man formulating cards, running, owner. If he's saying it for the length of time he's been doing it now as well, then yeah, that's high praise indeed for the two girls, isn't it, going forward?
Yeah, 100%.
What an endorsement. What an endorsement. Si, we've got a few comments, actually. I'll just go over to them for a sec.
Go on, mate. Let's have
We've
a look.
got Lewis Young, who's up in Falkirk in Scotland. He's been busy training, doing wrestling. Hi, all from Lewis there. Si.
How's it going, Lewis? How's it going?
And we've got Chris Lappin, who is he's in wrestling now as well. He's not doing the podding. He's not doing the podding, but I know him and his son have been training and doing their stuff up in the Wirral there. Not far away from here. So it's nice to see them doing it together, man. It's awesome.
I had some good times with Chris. Yeah, some good podcast memories with Chris. But yeah, sad to see him not doing that. But yeah, hopefully we'll see him on the scene a lot more.
Absolutely. Lewis, again, he's got a question this time, though. What's the best match you have emceed?
Oh, man. That is a question, isn't it? Let me think.
You've put Simon on the spot here, Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, I need time to think of that. Let me come back. Let's keep that one, and I'll have a think through the episode, Lewis.
He's got another one. What's the best match you've ever seen? Then we'll come back to the MC one.
Is that in person or
I presume
TV? In person?
I presume with you being at the shows, definitely. Yeah, I think that's what you'd be after.
I'll tell you what, actually. The best match I've ever seen, and I called it as well, was John Moxley versus Trent Seven at OTT. That match was unreal. It was incredible. I think between that, yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, he looks thrilled. But yeah, he's a very quiet guy, to be honest. If not that one, I would definitely say Kenta versus Luke Jacobs, which I also called, which was on the same show. That match was a 10 out of 10 anyway. That could have main evented anywhere in the world. It really was. They beat the living daylights out of each other. The sign of respect was there. It was for the Defy World Championship. And I was very privileged and honoured to have been trusted to call that match. And one that I'll never, ever forget.
There you go, Lewis. Do you want to come back to the MC question after, and we'll go into something else? What would you like? You need to have it. You put him on the spot there because he's been around. I've
got 5 years of this, Lewis. Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, let me.
We'll come back to it. Si will definitely answer it. He'll always answer the fans. No problem with that. Also, Si, it's got to be said, video gaming, you hosting expos, all sorts of things over the years. I know how much you love that as well.
I do,
But
mate. Yeah.
you were with Claudio Castagnoli and Adam Cole, and I knew at the time you telling me about this. I'm going to be involved with them. How was that intermingling? Doing that and the wrestling.
Mate, so I remember having the conversation. I think I told you all I know is there's going to be someone there, and we're live. So just before we went live after a break, the director came up to me and he went, "I'm just going to put these here. There were cue cards," and I was like, "Right." He's like, "You'll know when to pick them up." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You'll just know." Well, this is a live broadcast that's going out to hundreds of thousands of people. So I'm like, okay, I've got to play this on the fly somehow. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, all of a sudden, I am mid-link. Like, I am mid-flow. We're talking about stats on the games. We're reading off, like, the finals and how exciting. And all of a sudden, I noticed the studio door open. I'm like, no one opens the door when we're live. And this huge figure walks through the door. Huge. And I can see something glistening. And then the closer he gets, I'm like, okay, this is what they were talking about. And I noticed straight away it was Claudio. I actually made a mistake on it and called him Cesaro for the first link. But I think I was just excited, to be honest. And then anyway, he stands in front of the camera purposely, comes around, says hi, and I'm just ready to start getting back in the flow of things. So I'm like, oh man, like, welcome to the show, welcome to our studios here in London. He went, no, wait. So he stopped me and went, I've got something else. I was like, you've got something else? He was like, yeah. He's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, this is all live. And all of a sudden, again, now, production played Adam Cole's music, which we couldn't hear in the studio. So we've still got no idea. Everyone at home knows, but our reactions are delayed because we haven't got that in our ears. So all of a sudden, I noticed straight away the door opens again, and I didn't even need to look twice. My reaction was completely natural because I had no idea it was going to be Adam Cole. So my reaction of, oh my God, like, was completely natural. Professionalism went out the window for about 15 seconds, as you can imagine. But yeah, look, they were great. They were amazing guys, so down to earth. We all know Adam is a huge gamer anyway. Really, really friendly, and they were very complimentary as well. So that was lovely. And I was chatting to Adam after we went into a break, and he was like, he'd been prepped about the host and what he was going to be doing, and he was like, "Oh, we were told all about you, man. I had to go on your Twitter and stuff." I was like, "Dude's been on my Twitter. This is amazing."
Proper doing his due diligence on you, and you're just like, "This is incredible." Mate. He's wanting to find that. That's amazing. You never told me that. You never told me that. So mate, that's amazing.
It was. And he also recorded a little personal video for Leah, which I didn't tell her I was doing. I just sent it her. And you can imagine that she absolutely lost it because he was, he addressed her by Leah Raven, and he was like, "I hope to see you down the road. Make sure you keep kicking ass," kind of thing, And he was that they were both really, really good guys.
I tell you what, mate, he's been so unfortunate with injuries. He's been dogged by injury, that guy. And do you know what gets on my nerves as well? He's undersized. You have all this. Oh. We know how toxic the IWC is.
Sadly, mate. Yeah,
it's just crazy. It's just crazy. What a talent, and everything he's achieved. Yet again, it's people with the negative, isn't it?
Yeah,
about somebody.
Mate, look, I've got the same ideas. Myself and Simon Miller talk about this all the time. Enjoy what you enjoy. Mm-hmm. If you don't enjoy it, don't watch it. It's that easy, mate. It's that simple. Like for me, especially when NXT was the black and gold era, Adam Cole was the person I tuned in for.
Yeah.
Every time,
Magnet,
without fail.
like a magnet drawn to him. It just annoys me, mate. And to segue out of that, just a moment. Why do people go to an AEW event and show all the empty seats?
Photos.
You've paid to be there, you numpty. Just go and watch the
Just
wrestling.
watch the show.
What are you trying to do? You're there anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you've paid for your ticket to enjoy what's in front of you.
It makes no rhyme nor reason, Si.
No, it doesn't. Who cares that there's 100 empty seats over there? You're still there to enjoy what you're into. It doesn't matter. It's not important.
Has it had a bit of a downturn since London? I would argue yes. What do you think? Do you think the criticisms have been unfair, or what was your thoughts on it?
I think London was, in my opinion, one of the best wrestling shows I think I've ever been to. It was phenomenal. And I said this on Twitter not long back because, again, there is a lot of toxicity on Twitter, and especially within wrestling. Excuse me. So, look, AEW have an unrivaled locker room of talent. They really do. They have, I mean, Will Ospreay, in some regards, probably didn't put it the best way. There's a small point there where the best wrestle, right? Because AEW should be doing what WCW did to start with. They were beating WWE in the ratings all the time, right? That's fact. That's in black and white. AEW should be doing that, but they're not, because they, in my opinion, at the moment, they're run by a fan with money, and I believe their writing team isn't quite paying attention to the right things. WCW still had stories. They did have showcase matches because they had the talent to do that. And I think AEW has the same. Because back in COVID, with AEW Dark, with Dynamite, Collision, I would go out of my way to purposely watch AEW, especially the first 2 or 3 years. I thought AEW was absolutely incredible. It was just amazing to watch. Sadly, I think the focus is just playground at the moment. It's like, can we just keep slating our competition when the competition's just like, you just carry on, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Because no one cares.
Do you know what as well? Like they say, Ospreay was fed that line about Triple H by Tony Khan. Right, okay. They need to make it about them and what they're doing. I think Jimmy Corderas didn't agree with me the other day when he came on, which is fine. He's allowed his opinion. I said, I think it was jealousy of how well WrestleMania weekend went. That's how it came across to me. He didn't agree, which is fine. We're all about opinions and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, the timing adds up. I think, the comment that Triple H made wasn't even directed at Ospreay, which is what I couldn't understand.
No,
like, we all know that Ospreay likes to do things the way he likes to do things, and that's fine. In my personal opinion, I could be wrong. I don't want to get shot down by Will because I don't know him. I know people that do, and they've all said he's a great guy. And in my personal opinion, that seems like a Will Ospreay kind of comment, who's a bit peed off. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. But if it was fed by Tony, that just shows the mentality there right now. Is all of the energy going on there right now is just to try and, play playground Chinese whispers about the other company.
It makes you realise that Cody was the go-between when he was there.
Yeah,
the talent. Really does. Tony Khan had him in sandwiched in the middle. They were, running the company, but then he had Cody liaising with talent. That's how it's come across to me. I know Cody's been gone over 2 years now, Si, but it from the outside looking in, not knowing, you don't know everything. We don't, do we? That's just thing. I do believe Cody kept it. There was none of this when he was around. He could liaise with talent, help them, and he was there for Tony Khan. I don't think they've got that with the Bucks now. But
no, neither do I. And the Bucks are also playing playground a little bit, which I am a bit ashamed of. I know they like a bit of banter, which is fine. But I think the disheartening thing is knowing what AEW was the first 2 or 3 years, because as you said, I think when Tony came into it, then he was more or less relying on, Cody, Jericho, Arn Anderson. I think he had at that time as well. He had a few vets around to help him direct where he needed to go. Well, a lot of those guys have just gone, or have just seen enough. And letting Tony just do what he wants. But look, I really hope AEW turns it around, because I do think it's an incredible talent pool. There are some amazing matchups there that are still waiting to happen. So I do hope I get to watch AEW again, as it were 3 years ago or whatever. But at the moment, I think they're in a difficult position talent-wise.
Omega and Ospreay had arguably, match of the year at Forbidden Door. So it's not coming across that I was dogging AEW. I want AEW to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was arguably man of the match. I had Charlotte and Rhea from WrestleMania 39 up there last year. But let's just look in ring, as you alluded to. What a roster! A roster. Maybe too many talents and top end talents where. But it's great for us as fans. I'm just saying, taking what you said.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. And I think that's also a problem. It almost comes across like Tony. Again, I'm not saying I'm right on this. It just comes across like because he made a comment, didn't he, about the other day about the best part of all this is the competition between the promotions because we all hate each other. Well, I don't think that's true, because they've worked with TNA, they've worked with New Japan, TNA have worked with WWE. So I don't think anyone hates anyone, really. I don't. But then he makes another comment, I think yesterday. He was asked if he'd ever worked with WWE if the circumstances were right. And he went, it just depends on the situation. So who knows? So which one is it? Do you know what I mean? Do you hate them or do you want to work with them? So, but anyway, let's move on from that. We'll cause a load of drama.
I was going to say, we won't clip. I won't be clipping this, all right, Si, just because it'll get dissected, and we'll be and people will cut it possibly, as if we were dogging them. I'll move on to something positive because I've got a good photo that you sent me. Bit of positivity. I'm with you. Let's move it along. Here we go. There you are. There you go. You couldn't get more positive, could we, really, mate?
No. That was a moment, mate, to be honest. So, complete transparency here. So, Leah came to me and was like, okay, she idolizes The Undertaker. Undertaker is top tier. Undertaker is her Shawn Michaels for me, you know what I mean? So, she was like, Undertaker's playing in Wolverhampton. I have to go and see it. I want to do the meet and greet. So we looked at the price of the meet and greet. It's like 300 quid. I was like, are you sure? We're going on holiday in a few weeks. She's like, I don't care if you don't want to do it. It's fine. I want to meet him. I was like, okay. So we did it. And yeah, as you can see, a tower of a man. And I'll let Leah have her moment first. And she met him. She had a long conversation. She was showing him photos of her wrestling and stuff, and he was taking great interest. So, he was interacting with all the people that had paid to do the meet and greet, but he seemed to hang around with Lee for a little bit. So, I thought that was quite nice. And then, I managed to have a chat with him as well. Got some incredible, managed to pick his brain and a bit of feedback off him as well, which not many people got the opportunity to do. But But I think the best moment came after the show. So just like any band, they'll finish the show. You'll see them like high five some of the fans that come up and things like that. And he was doing that. And Leah, we were about 3 rows from the front. And Leah was like, I want to try and get to him. Well, Leah's 5 foot and trying to fight through 6 foot blokes. And she did. And she got right to the front. And it looked like the Undertaker was going the other way. Well, he came back and he grabbed her. And he grabbed her hand. And all of a sudden, I turned around to my mate and I was like, he's chatting to her. And he leant down and started talking to her and then walked off the stage. Leah turned around and was in floods of tears. And I said, what's wrong? Like, I got to her eventually. I was like, what's wrong? She told me what he said to her. And she was incredibly emotional because he didn't do that with anyone. He was just high-fiving. He was just going across. But he recognised Leah from the meet and greet and realised that was the girl who was a professional wrestler that he'd spoke to earlier. And she had this beautiful, wonderful, incredible, memorable moment with him. So yeah, that was a positive, mate. That will forever be a moment I'll cherish for the rest of my life, especially because, we got some. I got that opportunity to pick arguably the best in the world to do this, and got his feedback on some stuff that I do as well.
Amazing. Just moments you can't. You're saying
you can't buy that, mate.
You're saying about the entry price and price, but that what you both had with him there, as you say, he's gone the extra mile there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
When it's busy, we know how it goes, Si, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And people like that are in demand 24/7. And for him to take the time with me, but more so to, after a 2-hour show where he met Leah with 30, 40 other meet and greet people and remembered her and spent time with her. I mean, you can't buy that. It doesn't matter how much money you've got.
Still my dad's favourite as well, I tell you. And all them times in America we didn't manage to get him, on the VIP.
Oh, yeah.
He's on my bucket list if he comes over again,
I think he will, mate. That show's been a huge success. So I think he'll be back over to do it.
His podcast as well. That was always going to be amazing. Anyway, I love it. I love the clips.
He's hilarious though, isn't he? I don't think people realise this about him.
Where Coco Beware wasn't happy with the tombstone.
Yeah.
He carried on for a bit too long having a go at me. Words to that effect.
Yeah.
He knew then there's going to be a problem in a minute if you carry on it. Was that was the gist I got. You just
brilliant.
You could tell, just like they say about locker room leader as well.
No one's going to mess with him, are they, mate? And he, for the 20, 30 years he was there, no one would have stepped up to him. And everyone knew in the locker room that you never do that.
Walking the ropes, and all the stuff he did for a man his size, the agility.
Unrivaled.
And if Paul Heyman spoke to Bruce Pritchard, didn't he? Because when he was in WCW, they just did not know what to do with him.
Yeah.
And it was Heyman spoke to Bruce Pritchard, and the rest is history, isn't it?
Exactly.
Vince got his claws into him, made the gimmick, and well, as we say, the rest is history, in it, Si.
Yeah, mate. That was one of the times where you will never ever be able to recreate that ever again. Not in our lifetime. Yeah.
We're going to move into football now.
And
your role with your beloved Walsall there in the Midlands. Pitch side announcer. I know you've been with him for a while now. So, how has it been? I know they're in the quest for the playoffs with 2 games to go. So, Si, how has it been? We're going to come away from the wrestling. We're going to talk a bit of football, soccer for the American contingent watching this or listening to it later on, just so you know, just so you're clear. Time at Walsall, mate, and how it's been.
Yeah, mate. Look, it's been incredible. So, go back to the very, very start. 2 seasons I've been there now. And so I remember seeing the advert for them advertising a pitch side announcer, but I was very, very busy at the time. And I think I think I'd been working abroad, hosting gaming stuff. And then I was sent the application and the due date had already passed. So I was like, I'm just going to try my luck anyway. Just sent them a show reel, an introductory email, and all that sort of stuff. Well, the next day they got in touch and I was like, can you come in for a chat? Like, yeah, sure. Now, bear in mind, I have been a Walsall. Even when I moved to London, even when I was working abroad, I've always been a Walsall fan. So this was kind of like a dream moment for me because, yeah, you could put me at Old Trafford, it'd be cool, but it wouldn't be home. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, we go in, have the meeting, and they're clearly very impressed with all the things that I've done and what I've been up to, and the career I've had, the awards that I've won over the years and whatnot. And so they said, right, I'll tell you what, could you do a trial shift for us against Aston Villa? We got them in a friendly. And I was like, sure. Now, mate, I have been in front of some crowds. I have hosted gaming shows to hundreds of thousands, and I've been around the world doing it. But when you step out into a stadium of 11,000 people, there's a different kind of pressure there. And I remember tweeting about it beforehand, and it got some really, really good traction. Really good traction. Hundreds and hundreds of likes and retweets and stuff. And I'd prepared something. I thought, do you know what? I want to go full Michael Buffer on this. Because even when I was a kid there, and this is not a knock on the lads that were there prior to me, they had their way and it was great. It always worked. The fans loved them. And I was one of those fans as well that listened to them. But I think the days of just, when it comes to pitch side announcing and just going, replacing number 5, XYZ is number 4, XYZ. I think now we're seeing a very different type of pitch side announcing. You look at the guy at Man City, the guy at Palace, you look at the Italians, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of vibe, there's a lot of emotion to help create an atmosphere and build an atmosphere. And I'll go into the misconception with that in a while. But yeah, so I did that, and I did this big Michael Buffer entrance, and as I'm stood there, Stephen Gerrard was in charge at the time, and he stands right next to me, and I wrap up his entrance, and he just looks at me and goes, "Give me that nod of approval." And I obviously, me there is like, well, if that's not me got the job, I don't know what is. And after the game, so the PA room is actually in the away end for me to get to. And after the game, I'm walking back up to the PA room, and some of the Villa fans all stop me. Go, you're Simon Hill. We saw your tweet and stuff. Brilliant today. If that's your first shift, you're gonna do really well. I was like, well, I haven't been offered the job yet, but thanks. Really nice. But for the Villa fans to say that as well, I thought that was really,
nice.
really special. And then, I did another trial. I can't remember who against, and then got offered the job instantly. So from there, it was just trying to. There was a lot of trial and error. We wanted to bring Walsall into this new era of, a more match day experience. Some of the bigger clubs, I'm sure you've seen it, Stu, at Goodison, is, match day experiences aren't just waiting for the players to kick a ball. There's a lot more beforehand. There's a lot at half time. And we wanted to create that. We wanted it to be something where the entertainment is throughout the day. And it took a while between myself, Sam Hadwin, who's incredible, is my right arm there, Andrew Maddox as well, unsung hero. But there's a lot of people that make all this stuff happen. And first season, incredible. Got some the feedback I was getting. I mean, some of the tweets I've saved, fans going, this guy's going to be a Walsall legend, and we've never had anyone quite like this. This is amazing, blah blah blah. it all went viral when we played Wrexham this season, Boxing Day, I think it was. And myself and Sam, see, I always come in with ideas, always. Sam does too, but I'm always the one that wants to try new things and push a little harder, just to see how far we can really go. So I remember I came in, and we do have some awful walkout songs that are changing next season. But I said, look, let's just scrap that today. I was like, let me get in front of the fans. Why don't we play White Stripes? I'll start them off. So I got on the mic and I started chanting the first, notes of White Stripes to get them to join in. So they did. The music's not playing yet. So they did, and they're still going. And then I radioed through to Sam and I went, play it. And he did, and the place erupted. So, there was little things like that. So we'd already pumped the crowd up before a ball had even been kicked. And I remember walking over to the fans at that point. Before that, and this was the first time this had happened to me in 1.5 seasons, is they'd all stood up and started clapping whilst I was walking to them. Now, I'm a Walsall boy, I'm a Walsall fan. I know I work for the club now, but I'm sure you can imagine what's going on in my head. Like, I am just like, oh, man, I don't care what happens for the rest of my life. This is one of the best moments I've ever felt, and yeah. So that's our goalkeeper Jackson Smith and Tom Knowles, who came back from injury last night. So we do the crossbar challenge, and as you can see, I can't quite see because the banner, but I'm wearing trainers there. I've got boots now. And Knowlesy absolutely baited me out in front of the fans and went, come on, then you do it. You're getting everyone else to do it every game. So I'm wearing trainers, mate. It had been raining. And the ball didn't go anywhere. It just it went scuff wide. I nearly fell over. And that's what all those laughs are about. But it's moments like this, I've got a relationship with a lot of these lads now, and they're all good guys. I think Knowlesy, actually, when I first started, was the first player to really welcome me in. And, that was a really beautiful moment, because then, the steady acceptance of the staff, the players, the back room, fans, everyone kind of brought me in as one of the family, and that's probably the most important part for me, is because I was a guy that was in the stands only 3 seasons ago. But yeah, so with Wrexham again, and I remember, I think it was half time, we did the crossbar challenge or something, and I was walking back to pitch side then, and the whole bottom tier started chanting, Simon, Simon, give us a song. So, and I don't know why, again, like, bear in mind, I've been a fan all my life. I've been in those stands chanting all the songs. I couldn't think of one in that moment. So it just took a little while for it to click. So I got one in my head eventually, because I think I was just so taken back, and a bit of shock had came in, because the fans are chanting for me to get involved. So I did anyway, and it just went completely viral, mate. There was some beautiful messages from fans, players, staff as well. I was getting messages late at night just saying how amazing that was, and that's when I think I've firmly solidified myself as one of the family. But another standout moment really is when I first signed with Walsall. So because I did this Michael Buffer entrance, I tweeted about it and tagged Michael Buffer in it. Well, Michael Buffer latched onto it, and Michael Buffer retweeted it, quote tweeted it, and said, and was the Poundland best got rocking Simon. So you can imagine Walsall is having a complete meltdown now, because Michael Buffer's got involved, and this is unreal. They've seen me holding they announced me on their website and news channels and whatever as the Walsall's answer to Michael Buffer, and I was holding a Buffer Walsall shirt up. And then I remember a news article came out. The Express and Star covered my career journey into Walsall Football Club, and it said that the title was something along the lines of "Simon is always ready to rumble," and Michael Buffer latched onto that again and said, I mean, look, when you're getting these kind of words from these kind of people, he said, you always do an incredible job, Simon.
Mate.
Keep it up. I don't need to ever have justification or praise from anyone else because the best announcer in the world has just said how good I'm doing at my job. It doesn't, you can't top that. Because that's the top, that's the level. You know,
and all the ones that are in boxing now, you can hear them trying to be like him, which is the ultimate compliment. You know, the younger ones that are coming through for the different boxing promotions across the world. Like you say, he transcended boxing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's what. Bet you're just like, oh my god.
Oh mate, so the funny thing is now is that the shirt that I held up that I'd signed with, excuse me, yeah, I'm actually getting framed now and everything. The club are doing it all for me, and there's a picture of me holding the shirt and a picture of Michael Buffer, and the shirt, nice framed work. But I've tried to get it signed, but yeah, his agent's making it a little bit hard work, but we'll try and figure it out. But yeah, it's just been a journey, mate. That there's been ups and downs. I think as well sometimes, and I can accept myself for this. And I think life is all about learning and also accountability. Oh, look at it. Right. I'll go back into what I was saying in a second. So this, when I was a kid, mate, I am watching Walsall. I had a few favourite players: Jimmy Walker, Darren Rack, and Darren Byfield. I work with one of them. These are the other two. So these two, I got told not long back. We sadly lost one of our managers from, yesteryear. Who was a manager I grew up watching back in our heyday, and I got told you're going to go and interview Jimmy Walker and Darren Rack at half time. I was like, brilliant, amazing. So they both come out, and I've met Jimmy on a few occasions, and he's just one of the lads. He's easy to talk to. He's a good guy. But yeah, we had a good chat on the sideline with the interviews and stuff, and then because so he made a joke. It's on Twitter. You can find it. That I'm wearing boots there, look, as you can see. And he said, you're the only pitch side announcer I've ever seen in my life wearing Mercurials. Like, I just, yeah. So it was, that was a great moment, having a bit of banter there. And, yeah, it's, this job has afforded me so much. And yeah, those are the two. Darren Byfield, the other one I work with now, I say is a colleague, because he's one of our coaches.
What a career he had. I remember his name.
Unreal.
His name was always flashing up on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Goals.
Yeah.
He was a beast for goals all the time. Jeff Stelling calling his name because he's put another one in. Very, very underrated to my mind.
100%.
Very underrated.
He always knew where the net was, mate, and he was very good. And I keep making the joke, like, you want to get your boots back on, stop being lazy, But I remember, so there was a situation. There was I think it was only about 5 or 6 games ago, actually. My mic's batteries had completely run out. And I thought I'd had enough because it said 2 bars on the thing. I thought would have had enough to get the next announcement out. Well, as we've just scored, and Mo Fowler scored his first goal for us, and I say, scorer for what? And it drops out. So I'm absolutely like dragging the microphone around, trying to get these batteries in. Byfield to come over, go, come on, side, do your job. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm trying to just get. I'll try and go again. It cuts out, so I have to radio through to PM. Like, can you just announce this? Well, Darren put on Twitter, like I put something like, "Oh, that's the win we needed." I think like Jimmy Walker commented, and then I put something about, "Oh, Byfield won't let me kind of do something or whatever." And Darren said, "I'm saying nothing," and he put the mic drop emoji. Like, so yeah, you know, we have some really good banter on that touchline. But for me now to just go in and say, look, I work with Darren Byfield and Matt Sadler, 2 players I watched. You know, I get to speak to Jimmy Walker, Darren Rack. I get to speak to all these other former players. And that's part of my job now. That's part of my life. That's what I do for a living and get paid to do. And yeah, going back to what I was just saying, that there are occasions where, you know, and again, I do believe in accountability here. Because I'm a fan, I can get caught up in those emotions as well. Like, you know, sometimes on the microphone, because, you know, you just want to see your team do well. And there was a situation this season during Harrogate where we weren't playing very well at all. And the lads knew that, and we were losing at half time. Now, if I was the other side of the barrier, still with the lads, all the fans, my mates and stuff, I'd want to be getting the lads hyped up. Come on, man, we got to pull this back. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm a firm believer in this, that, you know, it's a bit weird, isn't it, with football sometimes, is, you know, there are fans of football teams out there that will boo their players for 90 minutes and still expect a result. Well, if you're doing your 9 to 5 and your manager is slating you for 8 hours, are you going to want to do the job anymore? Probably not. So, you know, it's all, I've always got that positive outlook. And yeah, there was, you know, in hindsight, you know, I wouldn't have done that, but I think because we were losing and because we'd just come off a really good win and a really positive atmosphere, my thought process going into it was, look, let's hype the guys up, let's get behind the lads. And yeah, sadly the fans weren't very receptive to me that day, and it was really hard to get them back. But you know what, that's a learning curve on my side. And you know, something I need to be more aware of is, you know, we're all there for the same reason. Want to see our lads do well. Want to see our club do well. We love our club. We love the team, and that's the reason we're all in that ground.
Can you get promoted? Because you were talking to me about this off camera.
Mathematically, we can still make the playoffs. It's going to be tough. I'll be quite honest. So last night we won 2-1 by the skin of our teeth. DJ Danny Johnson, God, I love you so much, came off the bench and scored a 90-minute winner, which we needed. And, you know, there was, if it was going to be anybody, it had to be Danny Johnson. And yeah, I'm really glad it was him, because we all went absolutely nuts on that touchline. We all went absolutely nuts, and straight after the game, I went straight up to him, and it just went, because even on the mic, I think I said something along the lines of, "I'm going to enjoy this." Scorer for Walsall, number 39, DJ Danny Johnson, and I screamed it. But I went up to him, and straight after the game, he's like, "Thanks for that." You know, but he's the one with the biggest banter in the locker room, mate. You know, we always have a good laugh every week. But yeah, mathematically, mate, we can still make the playoffs. It's going to be tough, and I do think even if we do win our last 2, I think we're relying on everyone else, to be honest.
As soon as it's in other teams' hands, it makes it so hard. Not to say, hey, stranger things have happened, Si, but when you're relying on other clubs, Everton have been overly reliant on results for the last 5 or 6 weeks. You can't be like that, can you, really? But luckily for us, teams below us have been losing or drawing but
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time. We've got. It's just to be a football fan, eh? Crikey
Mate,
Moses.
yeah, tell me about it. To answer Lewis's question there, would you come to Scotland to do MC? Yeah, I absolutely would. Tell ICW to book me, and yeah, speak to the Scottish network, and I'll we'll have a chat. Yeah, mate. Yeah, look, football's a funny old game. It's a very love-hate relationship, isn't it? It's an emotional roller coaster. I am thrilled to be a small part of it, and now to work in the EFL for a football club that I love. We'll see where it goes from there. Like, I'm very fortunate that the club trusts me so much that they've given me a lot more opportunities this year and next. So we're gonna, that they've allowed me to have these spots where I get to interview people, because that's what I'm good at. It's what before Walsall, it's what I'm skilled in, mate. It's what I've done all my life, and it all started at Kerrang Radio, didn't it? We've had that chat before,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely. Yeah, yourself and Tim Shaw.
that's it, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to learn from some of the best in the country at that time. So not everyone gets that privilege. And yeah, and Walsall have seen that in me now, and they've given me those opportunities to host more, to interview more, to do more. And I'm hosting the end of the season awards for them, which is awesome. Really excited for that. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more next season as well. I think, kind of evening with and delving into some players' history will be really
It's
cool
all in
next
your
season.
wheelhouse. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, mate.
It's all the stuff you've, yeah. But also, what I take away from a review is evolving,
Yeah.
not stagnating. You're always thinking, aren't you? You're always trying to, you are. That's because you care so much. I know how much you care about it. Whatever you're doing, whether it be wrestling, the gaming, and obviously now with Walsall, which is just the ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, much to my missus' annoyance is I do care too much at times, and mate, I take work so seriously, and again, to my missus' annoyance, because everything I do with a purpose, and everything I do with a desire to succeed and to improve, to build, and I'm always looking at the next thing. Again, you know me very well, mate. I have never ever shied away from anything. I've just took it and gone, right, okay, look, this is either going to be one of the biggest things I'm going to do, or it's going to be a learning process. And it doesn't matter what bumps in the road you take, doesn't matter how slow it takes you to get there, as long as you get there, as long as you work hard, as long as you put the time and the effort in. And it's the same with wrestling. I get asked a lot of times, like, how did you manage to get to where you are within British wrestling? Because I worked so hard, because I sat there night in, night out researching, because I would, so Leah asked, I was putting notes together for Future Shock, and I had a really, really exhausting weekend before I even got to Future Shock, and I was like, oh man, I've got to get some more notes together. And Leah was like, you spent like 4 hours on it the other day, like, haven't you got it done? I was like, no, I've got 2.5 matches done. She's like, what do you mean two? And I was like, that's what proper research does. Like, it takes time and effort, and you've got to word it right, and it's got to be fit, and it's got to be in tune with, Future Shock's appearance and things like that. And it's also got to fit with the way I deliver. So it's, I don't just go, oh yeah, Harley Hudson's won a title. Who cares? You're there to build stories, you're there to tell stories, you're there to put over the talent, you're there to help grow the brand, whilst also being able to deliver something that's listenable. Like, we've been there, mate, and heard some commentary that's, I've had conversation with Matt Cardona about that in the past, and there's bangers that he's had that he just won't put out because the commentary is terrible. And it all comes down to just being well researched, and really just focusing on yourself. And it's that old saying, I think I put it on Twitter not long ago: if you want to work in front of thousands, you've got to do the work of 1,000 people in front of no one. Something like that. Let me get it up because I've probably got that wrong.
It made sense. It made sense to me, mate.
You get where I'm going, right?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
Where is it? So I only put it up the other day as well. Oh, there you go. If you want to look good in front of thousands, you have to outwork thousands in front of nobody, which is exactly true and has been the loneliest part of my job for my entire life, mate, is because all the work goes on behind the scenes before you step foot in the ring, on the commentary desk, in front of thousands at Walsall Football Club. Whatever I'm doing, it's the weeks and weeks of prep. It's the practice, the trial and error, the accountability, the learnings, and you move on from there. That's how I've always approached life. Yeah.
Would you tell people, in trying to do it, and they're, quite young in their careers doing it, would overthinking be a thing you would say not to worry about? Or what? How would you? I'm trying to help people here with all your years of experience in the biz. You see?
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Look, overthinking is a killer, and that's fact. What I would say focus on rather than overthinking would be to just don't overanalyze yourself. Pick little pieces at a time that you want to change. Like, okay, so was your delivery for the introduction to the main event what you thought it was going to be? No. Okay, so let's go back to that. Let's start there. How do you change that? How do you elevate that? Because I've also heard commentators scream for a wrist lock. Well, by the time the wrestler has got to their finisher, it doesn't mean anything because you've already popped for a wrist lock. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. I've been on commentary desks with people who have screamed at a running uppercut, but we've still got another 10 minutes of the match to go. You know what I mean? Like, bring it down, react with the crowd. Kevin Kelly gave me some of the best advice, to be honest. Because I remember somebody had asked him, somebody had mentioned not that you should never react like a fan on commentary. To which I can't repeat his exact words on your podcast, Stu. I don't want to get you cancelled. But there were expletives to which he was basically saying, who the hell do they think they are to say that? And this is Kevin Kelly, mate. Kevin Kelly's done the best and the biggest promotions in the world everywhere. There's no better voice to the G1 anymore for me. When you're listening to Kevin Kelly. But look, if he turned around and went, no, you should absolutely react like a fan in the right moments. There's an element, there is a self-control to it. So yeah, absolutely. Like, am I gonna react when someone's being put through a table? Absolutely, because I would otherwise. It's still got to be real. It's still got to connect with others. Excuse me. But you've also got to control. Self-control is the hardest part of this job because you want to get that emotional connection. And that's what I'm still learning at Walsall, mate, is although I'm very well strategized and controlled, I know what I'm doing every game and I know how I'm approaching every game. There are times where, like I said earlier, I do get emotionally attached, but that's just because I love the club and I'm so passionate about it. It's don't overthink and don't overanalyze, but pick the parts that you want to change and then go back to the drawing board. Research. You don't have to be the next JR. You don't have to be the next Tony Schiavone. You don't have to be the next Corey Graves. You are there to be yourself turned up to 11. Just be well studied, well researched, and go from there.
Building to the crescendo when you're saying about these
mate.
ones that pop for the you're not discrediting the talent. They're in doing what they're doing. They're going to do a wrist lock, Matt. You are building to the crescendo of the match, aren't you? So I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get it. Totally get it. Like,
Well, that's it, mate. And look, if the crowd are, slowly building for that wrist lock, then just react with the crowd, because that's how you would anyway. You're just there to eloquently deliver commentary and, to put over the talent, not yourselves. That's another thing that irritates me. There are people out there, mate, that do this job just to put themselves over. 'Cause it's not about us. It's not about me. I'm a good commentator, but it's not about me. It's about what I can do for the guys in the ring. It's about how I can build their character up, build their story up, build their moves, and help get all of that over the best I possibly can for them and the product. That's a good commentator.
I'm just going to say as well, Chris Charlton, who does all the analysis for New Japan, what a walking encyclopedia he is. Oh my God. I've messaged him before now. Just amazing. I love people are, just historians,
Yeah.
like eclipsing anything I knew, and I thought I knew it all. Jesus Christ.
I would love just 10% of his brain.
Unbelievable
Honestly.
what he
Yeah.
can tell you,
Yeah.
It's even down to these writers, journalists now, Brian R. Solomon, who I've had on the show, wrote for WWE Magazine back in the day.
Yeah.
He's wrote the book on the original Sheik. His historical knowledge of the business is amazing. He's actually working on Gorilla Monsoon's book now, but he's delaying it, but he's liaising with the family. He's involved with the family, but it's just what they're able to recount and how much knowledge they've got. It's unbelievable, Si.
It's amazing. I wish my brain could cope like that. It's a different level of being able to consume knowledge, isn't it? And also making it sound good when you're reading it out. Because, if you're just there reading off a couple of numbers, stat wise, how do you make it sound good? But these guys, they do. They do. And they make it so enthralling to listen to. So, yeah, man, those are different breeds. Yeah, I'd love a good chat with Chris. I would love to pick his brain a bit.
It's just amazing that how the hell is your brain? It's just to have all that knowledge, man, and he can just do it. And it's like obviously he's trying, but to us it's like he's not even trying. And he can
yeah, that's it, mate.
It's natural, man. It's just natural, and it really works well. Like you say, Kelly on play-by-play, it just blends seamlessly when they do it.
Yeah, it does. And we'll never know why, but it was sad to see Kevin Kelly let go at AEW. Something's obviously gone on there. But yeah, because Kevin Kelly is very, very, very good at his job. He's a bit of a dream for me to work with someone like that. I've worked with some incredible people, and I've spoken and got feedback and analysis and advice from the Undertaker, some of the best in the world. So I'm already on the way to living those dreams out, if I'm not already. So yeah, if I could get just even Vader Scott, mate, I think she's unreal. She's just
seen plenty of her. Yeah. It's almost unsung heroes in the business. Not to us because we know him. I think the platform, she's on a platform. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of underrated people.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
Within the business, that
I was very fortunate to ring announce for North last year, and it was for the WXW crossover. And it was actually Tom Campbell that put me forward for that. And I was just beside myself because I didn't even know Tom knew who I was, to be honest. But he put me forward for that. And he messaged me. And we had a bit of a chat. And he put something on Twitter like, I've actually got a proper ring announcer to come and cover me whilst I'm away. I think that's why whilst he was doing TNA. And I just couldn't believe it, and the feedback I got after that as well. So because it was WXW and it was being filmed for the network and things like that, it was I had real production feedback and help with that to a whole new level. So you can imagine the pressure I had, but I just went out there and had fun. And the crowd up there in Newcastle, mate, are amazing. One of the best crowds I've ever worked in front of. So yeah, you talk about unsung heroes. Tom Campbell's another one for me.
You never know who's watching either side, do you? Saying
You
that,
don't,
you know,
mate.
that was on the network. So let's just
Takes
you know,
one person, doesn't
when
it?
when you quantify it and the level, you just don't know, do you? I'm sure you know.
No.
I'm sure you'd agree with that. All your years in broadcasting.
100%, mate. It's one thing that I was telling Leah about in the early days. I was like, look, you know, it doesn't matter if you're wrestling in a barn in Burnley or if you're wrestling in a shed. It only takes one person to watch you. You know, even if there's just 10, there might be someone there that will change everything for you. And that's this industry, mate. You know, look, British wrestling's been through the ringer and then some. And you know, everything does, it still pops up now and again, but we've also got some of the best talent in the world here now. And there's a reason that the international talent want to come back to the UK again. You know, for me, I've seen it mainly because I work with OTT now. And you know, when you're there in a in a sports hall in Manchester, and then all of a sudden you're in a massive arena in Dublin, and you're commentating, you know, the likes of Matt Cardona or John Moxley, Kenta, Carlito. It's a weird life that I live over here, mate. It's you know, I'm gonna be sharing a locker room with Dolph Ziggler in a couple of months, and you know, I'm gonna be doing that, and it's unreal, mate. This life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You've done so well. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you know
Thank
that
you,
anyway.
mate. I do.
You know
I
that.
appreciate
I know.
it.
I just know how much it means to you as well, and how much time, like you're saying about the researching, all that stuff, man. You know, it's just incredible, incredible. Si, where can the listeners and the viewers find you in terms of socials? I'd like to ask that.
Yes, absolutely, mate. So I am Simon H official everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. I did start uploading like just commentary clips on TikTok. I need to start doing that again. But yeah, mate, absolutely Simon H official everywhere. But you know, look, I've had my attention, mate, and you know, yeah, it is proud boyfriend moment. But I think even if I wasn't a boyfriend, I think I'd still be singing her praises. You know, go and check out Leah Raven, because even I'll put it like this: there are talents you watch on your TV today that have gone out of their way to tell her how good she is. They have gone out of her way to tell her to sort of confidence out, because if that's all she needs, she'll be a star. There are people that, you know, some of you have had posters on your walls that have gone out of their way whilst watching her in a seminar going, "You're too good for this." So, you know, she is underrated. And I feel like she does need more eyes on her. So, look, yeah, proud boyfriend moment, but I'm not the only one saying it. Go and check out Leah Raven.
And she kept going when she was gonna, you know, when
Yeah.
she was calling it a day, and you've been right by her side as well. Imagine she had called it a day, but you know, thank goodness
Exactly.
she didn't, and she's carried on. She's reaping the benefits. And if her peers are saying about how good she is, that can only be the ultimate for her.
That's it, mate. What more do you need? You know, they always say that it's amazing to get the fans on side, but when your peers are taking time, that's a different ball game.
It's
that.
huge. It's absolutely massive. Absolutely massive, and well done. And I know any holidays booked actually, mate.
Yes.
Where are you off? Where are you off before you go?
So it's going to be a really weird month. So I'm working OTT. I might be going over to Dublin and Belfast shows to work them as well. And then a week after, mate, I am going to be in Mexico for 2 weeks. So
Back to Mexico.
back to Mexico, mate. It was a tough one, mate, because we wanted to go Thailand, but there's a lot of planning to go into a place like that. You know, you go around the various islands and stuff. We want to go and stay in Elephant Hills up there. So it was a lot of planning. So we just went, look, let's just go back to Mexico for this one. You know, Florida's on the card for next year, but yeah, we got this stunning 5-star resort, 2 weeks in the sun in the Caribbean. I can't ask for more than that, mate.
You need your R&R.
That's it, mate.
You need your R&R aside from the professional life. You do.
I think I've learnt that more
Yes.
over the last couple of years, mate.
I
I was very much all work and no
Yeah.
play. And now,
the balance.
yeah, Leah's helped me kind of understand that.
Yeah. It's good, mate. It's
So-
good. Just it keeps you mentally. I know it keeps you mentally right, doesn't it? As well, having the break.
Yeah,
It really does.
yeah,
it
it
really
really
does
does.
serve the purpose, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah. We work hard, mate. We gotta have some reward
This is
for it,
it.
haven't we?
This is it, mate.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be bloody gone soon enough when you think about it. I know it's maudlin down. We've got to do this stuff, Si. We've got to do this stuff, mate. I'm telling
Yeah, we have,
There we
mate.
go.
We have. How about yourself? You taking the family out?
you. We're first week of June
Oh,
for
nice.
10 nights, 5-star,
Lovely.
Tui Blue Resort. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
I'll be
Nah,
I'll be
sounds
like a
nice.
bloody lobster because I burn. So I'll apply plenty of factor 50 and hope for the best. We'll get little man in the pool. We'll make sure he doesn't drown.
You're on to a winner there, mate. Yeah.
He's a bruiser, mate. He's a bruiser as Brody. So
Good to
wait,
hear, mate.
I didn't mean to do that.
I was
I
going, hey, mate. Look, I was waiting for you to click on there.
I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, my guest today for his 3rd appearance. Sorry, Justin, you've had 2.5 appearances. I'm sorry, size pipped you. It is ring announcer, commentator in pro wrestler, interviewer in wrestling as well. Also broadcasting for computer, gaming, all that good stuff. And pitchside announcer for Walsall FC, his boyhood club, which you've heard about. It's Mr. Simon Hill for episode 177 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast. It's been a pleasure as always, Simon.
Mate, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. And yeah, this has been awesome. As always, it is with you, mate. So thank you.
No problem. Cheers, Si. All the best, matey.